Hello world, welcome back to Cybercrete, and today in this video we are going to talk about the Docker. First of all, will be looking at what actually is Docker. Then we will see how you can simply install it onto your system. Then here comes the most important and interesting part. Here we are going to see how you can create your own Docker container and then connect that Docker container with your application. Like if instance you are running a Python script, or you're just creating a website, how you can just do everything inside that container, install the packages, and then how you can simply delete that container, as also as how you can simply backup that container so that you can share it to your friends or just upload it to the server. So these are the contents of this video, and I am just going to put the timeline to all of that so that you can simply skip to the part that you like. And with that said, let's start this video. So first of all, let us see how you can download the Docker container. So to download the Docker container, you can just simply go to the Google and search download Docker. So I will not be downloading it because I have actually downloaded it. So it is available for both the platform, and the process I am going to show you is going to work exactly same on both the operating systems, either it's Windows or it's Mac. So this browser have automatically detected that I am running a Mac operating system or Mac laptop, and so it is asking for Mac Intel chip or MacBook Apple chip. So whatever I want, I can simply download it and I can install it. So once the installation process is done, you can just simply click. If you are on Windows, you can just press next, or else if you are on Windows, on Mac, you can just simply drag and drop and the things will be done installing. But here comes the most interesting part. Once the Docker is installed, you can just write the Docker command like this. So let me just open the dashboard, and so here the Docker engine is starting. So when you are going to be first opening the Docker, it is going to be looking something like this: Docker engine is starting. So it takes sometimes because what Docker actually is if you ever have used anything like virtual machine or VMware, so it is something like that. Here you are simply allowed to create a virtual machine, but as you traditionally do with your VMware or VirtualBox, here you are just going to create a very small small part of the Docker container. You are simply going to create a container. So container is something like a box that is going to contain the things that you actually need for whatever project that you are working with. Like you can create a separate container for your web development project, you can simply create a container for your backend project, for machine learning project, things like that. Here you are simply going to download an operating system for that particular container. In this container, the operating system will be present and other packages and dependency that you want with this project. So everything is packed inside this box. If you want to just deploy it on the cloud, this box will just go there. So this Docker was founded because people were saying it is running on my system, but it is not running on the server, or it is running on my system, but it is not running on yours. So you can use a Docker container. I can write the machine learning code with all the package and dependency installed. What you need to do is to just install that Docker container. First you need to install the Docker. Secondly, you need to install that Docker container onto your system, and then you will be good to go. All the things that are running onto my system is simply going to run on your system because we are using the same container. Because the container contains operating system, there is no dependency that, hey, if this is Mac, this is going to run on this laptop. If that is Windows, it is not going to run. So that is why this Docker was founded. So now let's try to see how you can simply install anything here. Like here you can see there is nothing, but we need to install any operating system. So if you want to simply install anything, you can go to the Docker Hub. So let me just go here. So Docker Hub. So here you are going to get all the images that you actually want to download and run. Like you can get Ubuntu, you can get Debian and all other images like that. So whatever you need to install, you can simply search here, and of course this is going to give you a command too for installing it. So I am just going to, so here you can see Ubuntu is available. So what you can do to download Ubuntu, either you can go to the command line and okay, let me just show you. let's wait for this page to load. So here it is giving you the command docker pull ubuntu. So if you are going to write this command, what this command is going to do, it is going to go to this Docker Hub, going to pull the Ubuntu operating system. Like it is simply like doing, you are going to download the ISO file and install it. But in the Docker, it is very easy. You just write this command, it is going to download Ubuntu, install it just in a single line of command. So let me just simply copy the command and let me just simply paste it here. So you can say docker pull Ubuntu, and it is pulling the latest version of the Ubuntu file. So let us just give it some time. So the Docker file that is going to download is going to be very small, like 100 to 200 MBs in size. So let me just check if this site actually provides the size of the operating system. Quick reference, what is the image? I don't think, but here it will show the size. So this is downloading the first part. It is not all. It will continue downloading, I guess, more files. So let's just give it some time, and I will just meet once this download process is completed. So now successfully I have downloaded the Ubuntu. So now let us try to see the images that we have. So one thing you can do, you can just click on the Docker image. Either if you are using Mac, it will be on this top bar. If you are using Windows, it will be just on the downside. So here if you see the images, here we have got the Ubuntu image. So let me just simply remove the image that I had. So this is the latest Ubuntu. So you may see that 3 months ago. So is it downloaded 3 months ago, or is it created 3 months ago? So it is created 3 months ago. It is not downloaded because I have just downloaded it and the size was 65 MB. So now either you can see the images like this, or else if you are a programmer or if you just want to do it on command line, you can say docker images. Docker images is going to show you the images that you have currently on your system. So you have the Ubuntu system that you have currently running, currently installed in your system. So if you want to start, how you can do that? So you can just say, okay, so first of all, let us try to get into this Ubuntu operating system. So I can say docker docker dash I it. So what is this I and T? So I, which means I want the interface, and T, which means I want terminal interface, and the image file, the name of the image file that you want to run, Ubuntu. Sorry. Okay, so you also have to say I just want to run it. So run, so it is like docker run it Ubuntu. So now we are successfully inside the Ubuntu. So here you can see root @ some numbers like this. So here you can do whom am I. So it is root uname -a. So it is going to say it is Linux. It is not the Macintosh. It is GNU Linux, and you can do something like, so first of all, the first thing that you should do is, like if you have installed Ubuntu, or if you are just familiar with it, the first thing that you need to do is to update the repository. So you can do apt get update. So if you don't do this, you will not be able to install anything using apt command line. So you cannot say apt get install Python or anything like that, because first of all you need to update this. So let us see how long this update takes place. So let's just wait for it. So it has finally updated. So let us try to install some packages like apt get install. So here you see I am successfully I'm trying to install something known as CMatrix that just simply shows the codes like Matrix movie, if you have seen it. So let us just simply install it and see if it's processed when we are reopening the container. Okay, I will just press any random number. And okay, now let me write CMatrix, and here you can see this is installed, but here is the main point here, important thing to notice. is this code. So if I write exit, I just came out from the Docker container or the Ubuntu container. But if I say docker ps, which lists the processes that are running, so here I exited, so it is not showing. So if I want to see the things that are not running, so I can say docker ps -a. So here you can see this is the Docker container that is here. If we want to just so if I just do this again, docker run it ubuntu, it is going to generate another id. So if I just run this, you can see the id was something 9b, and this is c2. And if I write here cmatrix, it is saying command not found, because this is not the thing that we have generated. So let me just exit it and let me show you. So if I again do docker ps-a, now we have the two container images. So there is one image, and with the one image we have just installed it on two different laptops. You can think like that. So one image you have downloaded it, and you can just create however copy you just want to create. But if we want to get into that particular system, like this Ubuntu, and because we know that there are all our files are inside there, so we can say docker exec, then we say -it, and then here we specify the name of the container. So here the name of the container was this, or you can also see from here. So you can just simply copy it, paste it, and you want its bash, so you can say bin/bash. If it have the bash, it will simply open it, and if it does not have bash, you can just simply say sh. Okay, so here you can see it is not running. So this container is not running, that is why it is not starting. So we need to first start the container. So we can say docker start, and then sorry, not this. We just need to specify the name of the container, or we just need to paste this container id, the container that we want to open, which was this 9b something. So we just specify the name. So we just paste the name, and now it is successfully started. So you can say check all the running with the command docker ps. So here you can see this is now running, and now we can get into it. So we can just use the up arrow key to get into the bash, and here if we write cmatrix, here you see here we are with this running cmatrix. But till now we have seen how we can actually install the Docker. We can create a persistence. How you can simply open the persistent Docker container with all the installation file that you have done. But now let us try to see how we can simply connect this file to our local system. So if I do ls, it is going to show everything that is inside this Linux box. So let me just Control L and do ls one more, or ls la for long listing. So here you can see these are all the media files that is inside this Linux box. We cannot simply access anything outside this container. So you see container are simply the box that is logged. You cannot access the things like our internal files. So in order to do that, like if you are doing it with your project, what you can do, let us try to see how you can simply connect with our local storage. So first of all, I will simply exit out of it. I will just clear it, and I will do print working directory. So here you can see, here I am on my main directory. So from here I can access anything. If I do ls, you can see all the things that I have, all the files that I have. So in order to connect our container, you can first check the name of the container using docker ps-a. So here we want to connect this one. So here we say, first of all, let's docker run -it, and we specify --volume. So here after writing the volume, we can specify the path, like which directory we want to access it. Like we can say we want to access this path, or we can also do something like this $pwd. So what this is going to do, this is going to take your current working directory, because pwd is print working directory, the directory that you are currently running this command on. So here we have already seen that we are this pwd command output, what was the output. So either you can simply paste this here, so copy and simply paste it instead of writing this dollar and this thing, or you can just simply write like this. So this is very useful when you just want it to run on the current working directory, like if you are inside any project, you simply want to run it inside that project, you can simply do that. And then here is the most important part, you need to specify the files where this should be mounted. So here this was the thing that was inside our Mac or inside our main directory, but here are the files that we need to connect with. So here you see there are dev, boot, etc, home, and things like that. So we need to connect it to some folder. So either we can, so I cannot write something like this mnt, because this mnt directory does not exist in our Ubuntu machine. So either we can connect it to dev, we can connect it to etc or anything like that. But so here, okay, so it have mnt. So if it won't contain mnt folder, doing this will not result to anything, but it have. So what we can do, we can write things like that and copy the code, paste it, and let's, so let me just do something, connect it with my Ubuntu. So I can just say Ubuntu, and if I do exit, I can simply exit now. But let's check this. So now if we want to simply go to the particular file and we do cd mnt and we do ls, we see nothing, because when we did this, connecting things with the volume, so this is the container that was created that contains that link. So there are multiple containers, so like 1, 2, 3, there are multiple containers, and this particular container with the 66 ID, 66 something, is now connected with our directory that we want to work with. So we can simply exit out of it and we can say docker, and then we can simply delete this and simply paste this one, the one that we have simply connected with. So we have connected this ID, copy, paste, and okay. So docker ps, because we know that this is not running, so we can simply say docker start, you can paste this. Now if we want to run the docker exec with the same command, now it is going to run. And now if we do cd and we just go to mnt, and now if we do pwd, print working directory is mnt, and if we do ls, here you can see all the things that we are able to see in our Linux machine, like desktop, library. So from here I can simply browse to my desktop or any files. You can even see this test.py or any file that you want to see. So this is how you can simply connect the container with the machine file with your host machine. So let me just simply exit out of it. So this was it, how you can simply do all the operations. So again, if you want to make it persistent, you can simply keep on using this particular ID and everything. You can also do it using the visual representation. If I just simply go to the dashboard, you can do the things in this way too. You can simply go here, you can simply start the container, you can simply delete the container, you can stop it. Okay, let's try to see how. If we do docker ps here, you can see there are several processes running. So you can say docker stop, which process we want to stop, which container ID we want to stop. We can just simply paste the name here, and this is going to be stopped. If we do docker docker ps again, the container ID that we stopped, this starting with 61, is no longer here. So let me do docker ps once more to show it clearly. Here is the ID. If we say docker stop and we just simply paste this ID, now this is stopped. So you can check which images that you have using docker images. So here you can see we have the Ubuntu, and I think this was all of the things that you can currently do. With this, you can also simply delete it using docker rmi to delete the images, and you can use this force. So if you want to delete Ubuntu, you can say Ubuntu, and this is simply going to delete Ubuntu. So if we do docker images, now there is no images left. But if we do docker ps -a, we can see the containers remained. So we just deleted that ISO file, but the container that we created still remains. So we can simply say docker start, and let's just start this one. So now it have started. So and we can simply check it using docker ps command that shows the list of running containers. So here it is running, and this is all for this video. So in this video we have learned how you can simply install a docker, how we can simply create the container, how we can run the things inside the container, how we can connect that container to the files that we are currently running, or to the folder that we want it to run, and how we can simply stop, remove, delete the container. So this was a quick and a crash course for the Docker files. So I hope that you have learned things from this video, and if you did, please make sure to subscribe to our channel. This helps us a lot, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. So thanks for watching.